This drill is a butt kicker. It's got a 5-second par, 3 targets, 2 shots each with a full rotation. Because that first one, you can go from there to there, and it doesn't really take much. You don't even have to really contract, which is low moment of inertia. That's what this is about. But low moment of inertia is required when I go from here to here. So I have to draw the pistol in to reduce the required force to rotate its mass and then punch it back out again. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about what you just saw, which is what this is about. And a few days ago, some guy who is a range safety officer and whose online handle has 1911 in it, so that right there tells me who he probably is inside. He went on and on and on and on and on, and I gave the guy the benefit of the doubt because his first comment was just right on the edge of dumb, but it wasn't like full-on Viking. With those, I just erase those people. Check 360. Dave Spalding, one of my mentors, who is a phenomenal instructor, and you need to go train with him before he flat out retires. This year, I believe he's actually reduced his training schedule. So you need to train with him before he just flat out retires on you, and all that knowledge goes with him. A lot of what I do, a lot of what I train is based on Dave Spalding's curriculum. And I like to make sure that I give the credit where the credit is due, and Dave has taught me so much. And one of the things that he has taught me, and hundreds if not thousands, yeah, well definitely thousands of other people, is check 360. And what that means is when you have finished dropping the threat and you have tracked that person to the ground, you must at all times assume that this person did not get here by himself. You must assume that he has another buddy. And so what you're looking for is, who is he with? So I'll give you a great example of this. If I assume that this guy's by himself and I have myself a samurai moment, I'm like, yeah, I just dropped that threat. I put him to the ground, and I have prevailed in this fight, and awesomeness has flowed forth from me. Then I'm going to miss the threat that came with him because I'm busy focusing, target fixating on this guy. And the reason check 360 looks goofy to some of you is because you don't see what the effect of it is. And the effect of it is operating within the real world space. When I say operating, oh, now I gotta clarify that word. When I say operating within the real world space, I don't mean operators. I mean doing things in the real world. And so anyways, tell you what, I'll do the technique and then I'll clarify some of the issues that I know that are gonna arise. If the threat is here, and I realize the threat is coming on me. Let's say I haven't even noticed this guy. He's behind a car, whatever. This is the threat. And I have the time as he's approaching. I draw my sidearm and I punch him. He's down. I've tracked him. He's beginning to make a mess. He's down. What I now do is I am clearing 180 degrees around me because I have made it a point to look at this guy. And so I now have 180 degrees clear in front of me because I'm watching him. But I still haven't cleared everything that's behind me. This is the known direction of threat that I have now cleared because I have this space out in front of me. So I step toward this threat and I rotate, looking for further threats. At this point, I catch another threat. He's now coming at me. So now, I drop that threat. And now, what do I do now? Okay, now I've cleared that threat. So I glance back at this threat, and I rotate. We're gonna assume there's nothing here. And I rotate, and I go back to the space that I just saw threats in. And I can keep track of them. I'm looking in every direction. Why is this hand here? Well, Dave says it quite well. He says, you think this nose got this way? What was it? You think this nose got this way on its own? And basically what he was getting at was he has he has been hammer-fisted before by a turd that came up on him. So having been a police officer, Dave is also a former police officer. Having been a police officer myself, I can tell you, these people travel in packs. They really do. And I have been in a situation where the guy said, I'm gonna run your ass over. And he jumped in his Suburban, fired it up, put it in drive, and and basically I made it to the driver's door, and I pulled the door away from him as he began to try to close it. And my sergeant, who was 5 foot nothing, God bless that woman, went underneath my arm and into the cab of the vehicle and went full-on gorilla style with this dude and dragged him out, and the vehicle began to just slowly move, okay? Because he'd about made it to neutral when she went hands-on. So the vehicle is slowly moving forward, and we're in a full-on brawl, okay? This dude had friends that were just around the corner, and by the grace of God, they didn't get involved. But it could have gotten really, really ugly, and we got him under control. No one got killed. The point is, this hand is for when I rotate and this guy started coming at me. If he got in close enough, I could shove. I can begin shooting from here. I can push him off. I can backpedal. I can get on the gun. I'm still in balance. I'm still in control of my own body. This hand is just, all this hand is doing is giving me options. Because if I immediately do this, and that guy knows what he's doing, he's on my arms. Or he immediately is going, he basically sidesteps me and just clips me in the neck. Any number of things. And the reason that this arm here, and the scapula, the shoulder blade, the reason the shoulder blade is rolled in tight and the muzzle is here, and I'm gonna hyper accentuate the stance. Watch my muzzle in relation to my feet. In fact, let me move out to make sure the camera can get it. Watch my muzzle in relation to my feet. It never sweeps me. It never even comes near to my knees or my feet. I can check all 360 around me, and I'm never muzzling myself. I'm not muzzling you. I'm not muzzling anybody else. I'm not muzzling these guys. I'm not muzzling anybody. And yet my gun is in a position where it's ready to fight if I have to. That's what Check 360 is about. It looks dumb as all get out. I know it does. It looks dumb as all get out, and I get constantly punched in the comments for it, but I don't care, because it is the most solid technique I have ever seen. Now, let me address some of the issues that some of you are going to have. No, you can't do this in an indoor range. No, you can't do this in an outdoor range if they have the veal slot mentality. No, you can't do this at the vast majority of classes out there. But what you can, where you can do this is at my classes, which I'm not there yet, guys. Some scheduling issues I got to take care of out here. You can clearly do this at Dave Spalding's training. It needs to be understood where the technique can and cannot be done. But you can practice this at home. You can game theory a lot of this stuff in your head. What will I do if this happens? What will I do if that happens? I need to be able to remember to train myself to shoot, drop, track that person, step forward, find other threats if need be. Oh, here's another thing. If I'm doing this and my gun is tucked in tight against my body, well, what a great position to be in if I spot a good guy or law enforcement coming. I'm now in a position where I can discreetly put my gun away. I'm not running around with my gun in the air, looking for other threats. I'm not doing this, which will most assuredly get you shot. I'm doing this, and I'm looking for other threats. It's really hard to spot in the chaos of the moment. It's really hard to spot a sidearm tucked in tight against your body. And yet you are just as ready to fight from here as you are from here, or here, or here. That's what Check 360 is about. It's about taking the real world space and saying, how can we distill the motion that's needed to make it through the fight and past the fight without catching around? Remember, most people's mindset is once the bullets stop flying, that fight's over because justice got laid down. But the fact of the matter is you can't control all the variables that are around you, which are other bad guys and other good guys with guns. That's what Check 360 is about. As always, I thank you guys for watching. God bless you all. Get those guns out and practice. Have a good one.